second. Anyways, we're doing my full wavy hair routine today. And oh, for some reason, it won't let me go live on Instagram. 1 second, I'm gonna try one more time. One last time and then we'll go ahead. Okay, 1 second.
Give me one privilege men have the...
Okay, let's try this again. Wait, I'm gonna start things in about 60 seconds. Sorry about that. Okay, sorry, my feet are cold, so I'm putting on socks. So we're gonna do a full wavy hair routine, or like loose curl routine. I call my hair wavy, but I know that's always up for debate. So the products we're gonna be using today are Curl Keeper. I know the last couple of wash days I have been using Recoil and Less Brand, so Recoil and Less Brand's Irish Sea Moss Gel, which I absolutely love these two products together. The reason I'm not using them today is because my hair on my last wash day, partially because I just added way too much product, but just in general, I've noticed it's been getting like a little bit weighed down. Now, I don't actually think it's from these products. I have hard water, and about a month ago when I got a curly cut, she used a hard water wellness treatment on my hair, which clarified all the hard water buildup off my hair. So of course, naturally, my hair was really bouncy and like so healthy after that treatment. And so it could just be now that hard water is starting to build up on my hair again. So it could have absolutely nothing to do with the products that I'm using. I think that's most likely. So I'm going into the salon today. As some of you know now, I am a hairstyling apprentice at Curlology in Carp. This is my first time actually talking about it on live. I didn't realize that this is my first, oh my God, my first live actually talking about that. So today I'm going into the salon to work. Hi, Emily. And so I am going to pick up some hard water wellness while I'm in the salon, and I'm going to try clarifying with that and see if that helps by my next wash day to like bounce things up a little bit. But it could also be because I do find Recoil is very moisturizing. So it could be, so anyways, that's one of the reasons I'm reaching for Curl Keeper today. Curl Keeper is great because it will never weigh down your hair. I think it's a great choice for very fine hair. It's meant to replicate what water does for your hair. Hi, Aaliyah. It's just very, very, very lightweight. So that's what I'm gonna use today, and I'm gonna pair it with a little bit of mousse. Nina, so proud of you. As someone with an invisible disability, I can totally relate to how huge this is. Thank you so much. That video where I talked a little bit about this journey as it relates to my disability, I think I only posted on TikTok, but thank you so much for that. I really, really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm so excited to be starting this apprenticeship. It means the world to me. As you guys know, I am so passionate about hair. I have been job shadowing at Curlology Salon for months now. Marilyn has been so gracious, and actually how this whole thing started was I'm a hair influencer, and you guys know I love to teach. I love to help you guys with your hair, and I just recognized that I only knew about my own hair. So I was getting questions from so many different hair types, fine hair, just so many different hair types, and I can only do so much to help you when I've only really played around with my own hair. So I thought, naturally, why don't I ask some curly hair specialists in my town, of which there really aren't that many, maybe like half a dozen really prominent ones, maybe less, in Ottawa. And so I started just messaging a few of them, asking if I could job shadow them, just so I could learn more, so that I could be more helpful to you guys, with no intention of ever becoming a hairstylist. Like, I didn't think I would be able to functionally do the schooling because of my brain injury. But anyways, that's how this whole thing started. And hi, Melissa. Yeah, Invisible Illness Warriors Unite, absolutely. And I mean, there's so much privilege that comes with invisible illness, and I'm very, very aware of that. And really, there's something that, like, some gratitude that we have to have for that privilege that comes with invisible illness. Because there's a lot of prejudice that so many people with disabilities face in society that we ultimately get to bypass. We get to a certain extent, pick and choose when we get to wear our disability badge. You know what I mean? So that's something we always need to be so aware of. Somebody else on Instagram just wants me to get started. But anyways, all that being said, let's get started. So we're gonna get started with my hair, and I'm gonna be using Curl Keeper, the original. Let me just see if I have a spray bottle. Y'all, if anybody's on this live for it to go quickly, you're in the wrong live. I can let you know that I do post the recordings on Instagram and YouTube afterwards. So if you're in a rush, don't worry. Don't worry about watching it live, because these lives are never fast. You can come back and watch the recording afterwards. TikTok's like, don't rush her. We like to chat. Yeah, we chat a lot on here. Okay, so I'm just gonna go get my spray bottle so that I can keep my hair wet. It's already getting a little bit dry, and then we're gonna get started. I'm excited to do my hair today. I'm gonna get my coffee too. I also just wanted to do some shout outs because I'm really starting to feel like I'm friends with a lot of you guys. Look at him just living his best life up there. Oh, YouTube, you can't see him. Oh, YouTube, you're looking at my messy kitchen, my bad. Look at him just living his best life. This is Sterling, if you haven't met him before. 165 pounds of baby. He's an English Mastiff. Thank you, my dear. Yeah, I just want to do some call outs to some of these people who I join my live week after week, and I feel like I know y'all at this point, and I so appreciate this like meta friendship we're building. Melissa, you know you're one of them. Emily, you're absolutely one of them. Tony, absolutely. I'm pretty sure I've seen you in quite a few of my lives. Nina, for sure. Who else did I see in here? That might be it so far. But I so appreciate you guys coming back week after week. It's so nice to like have some familiar faces in here, and it makes it so much more fun. The bigger the dog, the bigger the baby. I so agree. I have like a little 55-pound bulldog, and she is a tyrant. Oh my God. Bulldogs, though, often are sassy little brats. And she is very sassy. Okay. So we are just going to start by keeping the hair nice and wet. Aw, Emily, you're so sweet. Tony, yeah, I thought I'd been seeing your name a lot. Yeah, so 1500 Sude, I don't know if I'm saying that right. This is recorded on Instagram. You'll be able to come back, and it's under the Reels tab. You'll be able to see it. It's like a reel, and it'll say live on it. And they get more, on Instagram at least, usually they get more views afterwards as a recording than they do live. Aw, Nina, I love that. You use my lives to get ready in the morning. It feels so fun. Yeah, it does feel like college when we're getting ready together. It makes, honestly, people are always like, comment on like how long it takes me to do my hair. And they're like, oh, I could never. And I'm like, well, honestly, it's kind of cheat codes for me because like if you had 50 people, like right now I've got in total like 65, 70 people hanging out with me right now and you guys are all interacting. Like if you had that with you every time you were doing your hair, you wouldn't mind. Or maybe, I guess everybody's personality is different, but some people would mind. Yeah, it's like we're all chilling. Why am I so unorganized today, y'all? Well, I can tell you exactly why. I've been learning how to do root touch-ups on a mannequin, so all of my clips were over with the mannequin. That will probably be one of the things that I'm doing pretty soon in the salon. I've probably done 50 root touch-ups on a mannequin in the last week. It's so fun to play with hair. That's literally why I'm becoming a hairstylist. I've done, honestly, probably, I'm trying to think how many root touch-ups I've actually done in the last week. Probably 3 to 4 every day for the last 7 days. And I love it. I love playing with hair. Started diffusing your hair the way I recommend and you're finally getting the results you've wanted. Oh my God, diffusing technique matters so much and people don't realize that there is a technique to it, so they don't realize that that's where they're going wrong. Do you only use one brand of wet brush when doing your hair? No, I've got all sorts of different brands of detangling brushes. This is the Love Your Curls one. I do really like it. I wish the bristles were a little bit longer for my hair, but it is a very good detangling brush. In between wash days, do you wet your hair? Typically not. I've really nailed my wash day, so I have quite a long wash day, as you're about to see. So in between my wash days, unless I'm going into the salon. When I'm going into the salon, I like my hair to look perfect because I don't want to fuss with it when I'm in the salon. So I will typically do a wet refresh if I'm going into the salon, where I fully re-wet my hair, like brush curl or brush style it and re-diffuse. But other than that, I just break up curl clumps. Like, I don't do much. So I am taking Curl Keeper, guys, and I'm distributing it throughout my hair. Now, the thing to note with Curl Keeper, it's very watery. You don't need to emulsify it in your hands first because it's so watery. Although, anytime you're testing a new product, it's a good idea to see how it reacts in your hands when you add water, when you rub it together. Yeah. The other thing to note with Curl Keeper, I think I've got a link for Curl Keeper in my bio. I don't know if it's an affiliate link. I think I started setting up an affiliate link with them, but I don't know if I ever finished. I do really like the brand. I've met the founder. He's wonderful. They're a Canadian brand, but with any product, of course. But it's tough to overdo it with Curl Keeper. You can add quite a bit of it. There isn't a super strong hold with Curl Keeper, but they do have a gel as well. Now, you guys know I'm a sucker for my Irish sea moss gel, so I think what I'm gonna do is just do I'm just gonna do the Curl Keeper Original, and then we're gonna do a little bit of mousse on top for that extra little bit of hold. 1 second. I'm just blocking somebody on Instagram. The Curl Keeper, there's a link in my bio, sure. I think there's at least a link for the for Tweak at least, and that will take you to the Curl Keeper website. You got the Irish Sea Moss gel recently. It's amazing. I just need to find a product to use it with. So what you want to pair the Irish Sea Moss gel is going to depend on your hair. I love the Irish Sea Moss gel. I think it's very versatile for a lot of different hair types. But what you pair it with is going to vary a lot depending on what your hair type is. So someone says, what is the Curl Keeper for? Is it a serum or a leave-in? That's such a good question. It's really unlike many other products that I've tried. It is meant, so let me describe it the way the founder described it to me. In fact, if you scroll back through my videos, specifically on TikTok, they might be on Reels too, you can hear him describe the product. His name is Jonathan Torch. But basically he said he had a vision that curls were perfect when they were wet, saturated with water, okay? So you know how there's absolutely no frizz. Now that's not true of very fine, wavy, loose curls that get weighed down, but like think of spirally bouncy curls that are absolutely flawless and frizz-free when they're wet. So that was the vision he had. So he wanted to create a product that was going to replicate that, but maintain that as curls dried without weighing them down at all. That was as light as water. So that's what the product does, is it adds definition the way gel does, but it's not necessarily a hold product the way gel is. Does that make sense? So it adds definition the same way a gel would, but it doesn't add hold as much as a gel would. So I would compare the hold more to like a defining curl cream or a very light hold gel, but it's more defining and lightweight like a gel, if that makes sense. Yeah, I probably need something else with it, just not sure what. So I can definitely use it on its own. Absolutely, I actually love it on its own. For like a little bit of extra hold, I sometimes like to add a little bit of mousse. You could add a little bit of gel, but I would say if you want to try Curl Keeper the first time you use it on its own, so that you really get a sense of what it does on its own before you mix it with other products. That can often be a really good idea when you're trying out new products. Try using it on its own just once. Yeah, it's a really interesting and very unique product. I think it's very well. And then all of the other, just so you know, all of the other Curl Keeper products are based off of the Curl Keeper original, and they just change one or two ingredients to adapt them for different curl types. So the gel is the same product, just with a little bit more hold to it. But you can pair the original with gel on top, or, you know, all sorts of things. Okay. I feel like I spend so much more time adding product to my hair than other people do. But I just really like to make sure it's evenly distributed. When I run my hands through like what you're doing now, mine just goes frizzy. So it doesn't matter if I create frizz in my hair right now because I go through and brush style afterwards. The other thing I would say is if you're not brushing through afterwards, you need your hair to be soaking wet, like way wetter than what my hair is now. I use the leave-in from Luss, like the all-in-one I'm assuming you mean, and then use sea moss on my ends. Lovely. Is there a question there? That's a great combination. How long does it take you to finish a bottle of Curl Keeper? I don't know. I've had the same bottle for a really long time. I don't use the same product every wash day, so I'm really not a good person to ask that question to. Congrats on joining Curlology. Literally just finished reading the announcement when this popped up. Oh, thank you so much, Kay. When my hair flash dries in 5 minutes, does that mean my hair is very, very dry? It probably just means your hair is very, very high porosity. Very high porosity hair dries very, very quickly. So my first question would be, do you bleach your hair, Melissa? Because hair that's bleached is often particularly high porosity. So then for your hair type, you might want to use slightly heavier products than someone with your same curl pattern, but lower porosity hair. However, you want to also take into consideration your hair like thickness. So if you have very fine hair that dries very quickly, well, you can't use like creamier products that are a little bit heavier because your hair is also fine. So there's all these things you have to take into consideration, right? Okay, so if heavier products weigh it down, you're gonna have to stick to those lighter products. Again, there's all these criteria that we have to take into consideration. It's fine for sure. Okay, yeah. So then you just have probably very high porosity hair that flash dries. It could be partially to do with the products you're using. Sometimes like this Marc Anthony Strictly Curls Mousse flash dries on my hair quite often, so I add it quite late in my hair routine usually. But if you don't think it's the products, then just keep a spray bottle. Use good moisturizing products, deep condition, but flash drying can just be a reality for some people with high porosity hair. Or you could have extremely low porosity hair that you're never getting properly saturated. That's the other option with flash drying, is if you have a lot of buildup on your hair, or if you have very low porosity hair and you're never properly saturating your hair, it will flash dry on you. Okay. Okay, so what I like to do, because sometimes my hair struggles to retain water a little bit, so often I will, when there's no product in it, so often I will add my product and then I go ham with adding water, because then it will hold the water so much easier. If I try to like add all the water before I add my product, it just keeps drying on me, so it's like I'm gonna end up adding water a bajillion times. And waste everybody's time. So at this point, I want my hair to be nice and wet because we're gonna go through and brush style. Yeah, porosity is definitely a tricky beast. So let's get started with brush styling. We're gonna use a Denman D4 today. You can use whatever brush you have at home. You need to use a Denman. The Denman is nice. You can use a knockoff Denman. You can use a regular paddle brush. Yeah. Now, why are we doing this step? The idea here, before we even get started, the idea here is, do you see how I'm a little bit stringy through here? These are very tiny curl clumps. If I let my hair just air dry from here, do you see how I even have like a little bit of frizziness up through the top here? Can you guys see that on all platforms? It's harder to see on Instagram, but anyways, it's not bad, but these are tiny little curl clumps. They're not very big. You can kind of see it through the top here. Let's see if you can get through on this side. Very tiny curl clumps. As my hair dries, that's gonna start looking like frizz. Wet frizz equals dry frizz, okay? So there are other ways other than brush styling to address that. Brush styling is not the only way to address that. I could have applied my product to wetter hair, and then I could rake through and scrunch, or rake through and praying hands and then scrunch. I could have done the bowl method. That will clump my hair into larger curl clumps. You could squish to condition and apply your product like that. These are all different types of techniques that are going to allow you to have slightly larger curl clumps. You see how it's just like a little bit frizzy through here, and kind of small curl clumps. Now, the exact size of curl clump that you want is going to vary depending on what your curl pattern is. If you have a much tighter curl pattern than me, this might actually be an appropriate size of curl clump, okay? On my hair, I like all of this to be one curl clump, okay? So it's gonna vary depending on your curl pattern. It's gonna vary depending on your preference. But for me, this, I know, is too frizzy for my hair. And if I was to just start drying from what I see here, we would end up with frizz. So instead, I'm gonna go in, after I've added my product, my hair's nice and wet, I'm gonna go in. What I find to be the easiest and most effective method of eliminating this wet frizz is brush styling. It's my favorite technique, but like I said, there are other techniques. Oh, Emily, amazing. I think I missed a couple of questions here, so let's quickly address those. was gonna ask, does it really matter what kind of brush? If you're doing brush curls, then you want it to be a brush that has a smooth handle that's somewhat rounded, and you want to have enough grip in the bristles, but it does not have to be a Denman brush. I used a paddle brush with a round handle for a long time. A Denman brush is an effective brush, and a Denman brush will last you a really long time and is very easy to clean because my hands are really slippery right now, but anyways, this part comes out and it's very easy to clean. That's why hairstylists love it. It'll last forever. In fact, now you can replace the inserts and stuff like that without replacing the whole brush, which is a very sustainable movement that Denman made. So hairstylists love Denman brush because they last forever. They're easy to clean. But no, there are other brushes, absolutely. And like you can go to the dollar store and get a brush in this shape and try using that, see if it works, or use whatever's in your cabinet. Okay. Let's get started. So, this bottom layer is the most spirally section of my whole head. So all I really do is brush through. If I don't like the results I'm getting, I add water, or, well, I'm gonna start just by adding water. If I still don't like the results I'm getting, there might not be enough product. Again, I don't use the curl keeper that often, so I don't know if I added enough product. There we go. Do you already see how that's like clumping it together nicely? This is gonna give me much better results. Now, if that was too big of a section, I could then rake through, and now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 clumps there. But there's still much tidier clumps than they were beforehand. Does that make sense? My hair doesn't curl in the back and gets very knotted. I don't know what to do on non-wash days. First of all, sleep with your hair like on silk, and that's gonna help with the tangles quite a bit. If you want to detangle in a certain area, you can do that, but you'll have to re-wet that area afterwards because or you're gonna have to rock the like brushed out look. Okay, let's have a little bit of espresso. Delicious. Wait, one more sip. Okay, as I'm going through, I'm like really paranoid that I didn't add enough product, so. And the reason I'm paranoid is because do you see how at the top, I don't know, it's just like not really clumping, so I'm worried that I didn't add enough product close to the root. So I'm gonna have frizzy roots. So I'm just starting the product a little bit closer to the root and working my way down. Okay? And I remember Jonathan Torch saying, you can feel the product in your hair. You should have really nice slip. And if you don't have, bye Nina, thanks for joining. You should have nice slip. And if you don't have nice slip in the hair, just add a little bit more curl keeper. Okay, let's try that one more time. Okay, so brush through to smooth the frizz. I'm gonna go through and rake now and give her a little shake to revive the curl pattern. So much happier with that result. Okay. I'm gonna do the back section. Brushing through to smooth the frizz, raking through to break it up into slightly smaller clumps. See, 4 different clumps. And then the side. But if you use too much product, it gets heavy too. Though, not of Curl Keeper. This product specifically is very unlikely that it's gonna weigh down your hair. It's basically meant to replicate like what water does in your hair. It's just gonna add definition. So I'm gonna use this product differently than you would use a lot of other products. So keep that in mind when I talk about like adding the Curl Keeper. It's not like a regular gel. Yeah, it is a great product. I'm pretty sure there is a link in my bio for Curl Keeper. You can go check it out. And I don't know if it's an affiliate link. You can probably tell by the, can you tell by the link? Let's assume it's an affiliate link for disclosure's sake, but I don't know if it is. I don't think it is, but. Yeah, the mousse we're using today is Strictly Curls by Mark Anthony, so similar, like very cheap drugstore mousse. Hi, Christelle, how are you? Okay, so this next section, again, at the back of my head, I can feel there's already lots of product there, so I'm just brushing through to smooth any frizz, and then I am raking through to create those smaller curl clumps and then giving her a shake. I can feel that one of those curl clumps is a little bigger than I would normally allow, so I'm going to brush through that and do the same thing, kind of rake through to break it into smaller clumps and give it a little shake. And I'm not like overly shaking. I'm gonna do lots of scrunching later when I scrunch in the mousse. So Melissa, if you're really struggling like with flash drying and you can't do this technique might not be right for you. Like this technique isn't right for everybody, right? Like there's no one size fits all. You might be better off doing something like the squish to condish method, which I just posted like a 2.5 minute tutorial of how I did the squish to condish method, which is really great for people whose hair has a tendency to flash dry. And it's really great for looser curl patterns or finer curl patterns. So that might be a better technique for you. And you could just do, you could do this technique on just a few face framing pieces if you wanted to. Are my lives saved everywhere? Yes, totally, Kathy. They are under my reels, and the cover page of it will say live on it. There's already like 4 or 5 that are saved under my past reels. And I've started I keep meaning to, but maybe I haven't. You know what? Tomorrow I'll go through and post like 4 of my past lives to my stories, and I'll start a stories highlight so that you can go back and see some of my past lives if you want to. You think our hair is really similar, Christelle? Well, that's convenient. What products do you already have in other than Curl Keeper? None, but I will add some mousse later on. I'm gonna scrunch it in after I've done this. So really, I'm just kind of going through and creating these clumps. I'm gonna scrunch in mousse later, so I'm not worrying too much about the shake. My hair is nice and wet. And I'm not really doing brush styling or anything. I just wanna get through smoothing the frizz and creating the size clumps that I want, which should be fine for my hair. And then I'm gonna scrunch and revive the curl pattern later. But for some people, you'd be better off to shake it a little bit more to revive the curl pattern now. Everybody's hair is a little bit different. Okay, Sterling. Thank you. Okay, so we're just going to, I brushed through to smooth the frizz. Create those individual curl clumps. Shake to revive the curl pattern if you want to. There you go. Sorry, my husband's driving down the lane. Darling! And where is this piece? Exactly. Mom, but there's a car. And I'm a guard dog. Oh, I know. It's your dad. It's your dad. Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, he's a good alert dog. He's very wary of strangers, which is typical of the breed. And he's been socialized, but probably not as much as he should have been because of where we live. We live quite rurally. So he meets like enough people, but he is like a little standoffish of people until he feels like he's sure that mom and dad have like approved of them. So he's like a good guard dog, but he doesn't have a vicious bone in his body. But that's pretty typical of like English Mastiffs. Unlike Bull Mastiffs, which like they would protect their owners, English Mastiffs they will use their voice to protect and their size to protect their owners. They are very unlikely to attack for their owners. They're really the only time an English Mastiff is likely to attack is if they themselves are being attacked. They're not particularly aggressive dogs. They do look like space buns, eh? I used to do space buns more often, but the thing is I'm 32. So it's like, it's a cute hairstyle, but I do sometimes feel like it's a little young for me. I don't know. What do you guys think? At 32, can you still pull off space buns? What should I do? My hair on top is as curly as the bottom, so my hair is not damaged. So that's a good question. My hair on the top layer is far less spirally than my bottom layer. So you'll see kind of what I did on the bottom layer there. I really just brushed through, didn't do all that much manipulating or anything like that. But as I get to this top space bun layer, we'll call it, my curl pattern naturally is much straighter, much more like wavy, swavy even in some parts. And so I manipulate it a whole lot more on this top layer, so you'll see what I do. Oh, thank you, he did get really happy. See, this just wants to go towards my face, I think. There we go. Okay, fine, you just want to go towards my face. I see what you're saying. You've got a lot of opinions today, Mr. Curl. Okay, we're nitpicking. We'll be here all day if I do that. I'm doing my sections really weird today, I feel like. Okay, so again, we're just going through these sections bit by bit, and the idea here is we want to smooth the wet frizz. You absolutely, sorry, I really zoned out there, I feel like for like 20 minutes. The idea here is you want to smooth the wet frizz. You absolutely don't need to do it with brush styling. There's so many different ways you can smooth wet frizz. You can do it with, you know, the bowl method, squish to condish. You can do it with raking and praying hands. I like to do a mixture of brush styling and raking. But yeah, this is like one of the more time-consuming ways, and if you're looking at this and you're like, I would never in a million years do that, you don't have to. You absolutely don't have to. There are much faster ways to do this. I wait to the end to scrunch it usually, and you'll see, it'll get very spirally. Everybody's hair is different. Yeah, the back of my head is none of my business. Aw, Crystal, that's so nice to hear. It totally is trial and error. I so agree that. I get a lot of people asking me like really detailed questions about, should I do this? Should I do this for my hair? Should I do this? And it's like, I can answer these questions for you, and I can take a guess about whether this technique or that technique will work for your hair. But you know what? You gotta try. Like so much of it is like, in general, this works or doesn't work for wavy hair. In general, this works or doesn't work for, you know, but there's so many factors that come into play of why something would or wouldn't work for your hair that, like, especially helping someone virtually is very tricky. There's a reason I'm becoming a hairstylist and didn't just like start a curly hair business as like a virtual consultant. First of all, I want to touch as many different heads of wavy, curly, kinky, coily hair as possible before people are paying me. I want to be an expert. And second of all, I want, what was the other half of that? Is like, until I touch your hair, it's very challenging for me to give you really accurate advice. I can take a stab, but it can be challenging because I'm trying to fill in a lot of gaps of knowledge when I'm just looking at a picture and the information you've given me. Thank you for saying that. So a lot of waving curly hair is going to be experimentation. Don't spend too much time researching before you get started. Like, definitely do your research. I'm not saying don't do your research, but like at a certain point you just need to dive in. You just need to get started, but you need to continue your research. So when you run into a roadblock, continue your research. Keep reading about things, keep Googling things, but don't be frozen in collecting knowledge, because until you start diving in, none of that information is going to sink in. Just Pearl. Oh, I want to see the other end of your message. Good luck on your test. Just Pearl. Yeah, well, I'm really passionate about curly hair in general, Just Pearl. And one of the things I'm really excited that I'm already getting to do is learn a lot more about kinky and curly hair, kinky and coily hair rather, kinky and coily hair is such a gorgeous challenge to learn when you're someone who's never grown up being able to play with it, because what it can do, oh my god, like it's so beautiful, right? It's so beautiful, and it's so different than anything I've ever worked with before. So it's so exciting to learn about, but it's something that I can't learn about just by reading about, right? So excited to learn more about it in the salon. So guys, I am currently, you can subscribe. However, it's important to note that at this time, I'm still kind of building what this subscription program is going to look like. So keep that in mind. Now, if you are a subscriber, I'm going to be very mindful of you in the lives. So if you are in a live where there's 500 people and I see that you are a subscriber, there will be a tag next to your name that says Frizz. So your comments will come to the top of the chat. And eventually I will probably have a live at least once a month where I only let subscribers comment. There's going to be more like stuff like that coming out, but right now it's more just about supporting the channel. If that's something that you want to do, there's absolutely no pressure, but I only removed the do not subscribe, which I think I did remove. I only did that because some people were subscribing anyways, and they told me they just wanted to support the channel. They didn't care that there wasn't like a whole subscription program built out. There's no pressure to subscribe. I'm not doing it because I think you guys should or anything like that. And I'm really not wanting to put a whole bunch of stuff behind a paywall. So I'm trying to figure out how to navigate that I can still give as much content to you guys for free without making you feel like you have to subscribe and pay for stuff, while also giving you the opportunity that if you want to support the channel, and this is just a community that means a lot to you, and you want to be able to have the Frizz tag beside your name, that you can do that. So I'm trying to learn how to navigate that space. And if you want to send me a DM, if you have ideas of how I can do that in a way that you think would be really meaningful to you, send me a DM. You can send me a DM on Instagram or TikTok, and I'm all ears. I'm open to your ideas. Hi, Emily. Your comments are not ghosting. Sorry, I hadn't hit refresh. Curly hair isn't represented enough in the hair world. Yes, I do already have product in my hair. Oh, I don't know why you can't see your own comments. That's weird. Oh, weird. Okay, so we're just at the top of my head. So now when I get to this front area, this by far is the least spirally section of my entire head. So anyways, if anybody's in the comment section, that's what it looks like as a subscriber. You get that little tag next to your name that says Frizz. So fun. I must have been like one of the first people to set up subscriptions just to like explore the feature, because what a great tag. Frizz, like I was like, hell yeah. Okay, so this is gonna be the last raking one that I do. Wasn't showing up styling product. Yeah, so I already added the original curl keeper, which is a really interesting product. It's kind of like a gel that has very light hold to it. All it really does is add definition to your hair, if that makes sense. So I'm not in the US actually, I'm Canadian. Hi! Don't drink my espresso though, oh my goodness, so many animals. So I added the original curl keeper, which really just adds definition to your hair, and I'm going to add some mousse a little bit later. Getting a haircut this week, going from all the way down to your butt to somewhere around hair length. Very excited to see what it does to your waves. Ooh, so excited. Yeah, I'm Canadian. But we actually have quite a good selection as well of wavy and curly hair products. Do you have a video about how to do root clips? No, because I would not consider myself super competent at doing it on myself yet. I'm getting pretty good at doing it on other people. Okay, so now that we're in this top section, I am going to switch to doing some brush curls. So I'm going to keep it nice and saturated. I'm Canadian, guys, and I am a hairstyling apprentice. I work in a curly hair salon called Curlology in Carp, Ontario. You got a pixie cut yesterday and your hair is curly again after so much bleach. Oh my God, that's so exciting. So, hi husband.
Sure.
That's okay. Okay, so I'm just gonna top up with a little bit more Curl Keeper. Oh gosh, I'm dropping everything. Again, this Curl Keeper, it's really hard to overdo it with it. Have you ever tried Curls Blueberry Bliss Jelly for our hair type? I put it on mids to ends. I have not, but I've heard really good things about it. Okay, so my hair is really, really wet now. I don't know if you can tell. But now I'm going to switch to taking like pretty small sections. So this is when things slow down a little bit, full disclosure, because this is the most visible section of my head. And if I take my time with this front section here, I get the most longevity out of my style, okay? So now I'm going to switch to brush curls. So I take my brush. And the reason I do that, brush curls is where you wrap it around the handle of the brush just for this front section of my hair. This section of my hair is very type 2, very S wavy naturally. Like it struggles to hold curl, it falls out. And if I don't do this, I will just get kind of an S wave, maybe some wonky shapes to my like waves. And the curl pattern will loosen a lot after the first day. By day 2, day 3, it will just be very like almost non-existent. When I do brush curls, it just helps me get more longevity out of the curl pattern in this top section, and so I don't end up having to refresh as much. The name of my salon is Curlology. It's linked in my bio, by the way. I have not tried Girls with Curls. Thank you for the rose. Okay, so I'm going to take the brush. Let me show you how to do a brush curl. I don't feel like I've done a description of this in a long time. So a brush curl is going to artificially enhance your curl pattern. It can be really good if you have a naturally like tighter S wave, like you're just kind of on that bridge between an S wave and a spiral. And you're going to, so then it can help switch that like S pattern into a spiral, and that can help the curl pattern to last a little bit longer, but you are manipulating the curl pattern for sure. You want to take the section of hair. Now I find whatever section of hair I take now, that's going to be the size curl that it keeps reforming into. So this is the size I want it to be by day 2, day 3. If I take a larger curl clump and then once the hair is dry, I try breaking it up into smaller curl clumps, I am going to spend all of my time for the next 3-4 days breaking up those curl clumps. It's going to drive me crazy. So I just take slightly smaller curl clumps in the first place. Okay? So if your hair is like in that in-between S wave and spiral, and you want it to be spiral, there's nothing wrong with an S wave, so you don't have to fight it. But I have spirals underneath, S waves on top, and I like to have all spirals. So I do this technique on top. Okay, so I put the brush through the bristles like that, and I start rotating. Okay, as I'm now rotating, I only put it through the bristles one time, and then I start rotating around the handle. Okay, you can see I'm slowly pulling it through until just the tips of the bristles, tips of the hair are running through the bristles. And then I'm going to start wrapping around the handle all the way up to the root. And then you can start unwinding. And then for the last little bit, I'm just going to pull it through. Okay, and if it didn't finish curling, you can just give it a little curl like that. Okay, that was even a little bit of a big section. I might take a slightly smaller section for the next little bit. Now, if you are curling it against the curl pattern, make sure that the roots are nice and wet. Otherwise, it won't take, if that makes sense. You can go with I used to always advocate going with the curl pattern. Lately, I've been going against the curl pattern. Yes, you can do it with a different kind of comb, but you're gonna need to have enough grip to it. I've done it with a paddle that has a rounded handle, so like a paddle brush. Hello, how's it going, Manny? I don't think you could do this with a wide tooth comb, no. You could try, but you don't wanna end up cutting it out of, like, you don't wanna end up cutting your hair out of the comb, right? You need to have something to wrap it around. The key is that you don't wrap it multiple times. You got your haircut. Did it turn out good? I'm good, finally got your haircut. Did it turn out well? Okay, so there's already original curl keeper in my hair. So this is the Denman D4 that I'm using. So I'm just gonna take some from either side. I did not finger curl the back, I just brushed through and raked the back. Because the back is none of my business. So I'm gonna take a slightly smaller section on this side, wrap it through the bristles one time, but do you see how I only put it through the bristles one time? So if you've ever heard those people who are like, oh, I tried this and I had to cut the bristles out of my hair, that's because they wrapped around the bristles multiple times. Because here, if it won't come out, look, I can just unwind it. There's no reason to have to cut it out of your hair. You only wrap it around bristles one time. That's like the key tip. The Denman brush is linked in my bio, so you can go check it out. So this only works on naturally wavy or curly hair. It's not gonna work on straight hair. So all you're really doing is slightly enhancing your curl pattern by adding definition and like manipulating it. But you are, like, on my hair, it will make it look curlier than it naturally is on these looser curl pattern areas. If I do this on the areas where my hair is already very naturally spirally, it's not gonna make it look curlier, it's just gonna make the curl pattern look more perfect. But if I do this on the areas where my hair is naturally an S-wave, it will make it look curlier. Emily says, Denman has fun designs too, if anybody else is into that. Does your salon have a TikTok page? No. But they do have an Instagram page, Curlology by Marilyn. Some people find finger coiling easier. Absolutely. There's so many different great techniques that you can try. I find this easier than finger coiling. I've never found, like, I think it's because I find this smooths the frizz at the same time. So sometimes I follow it up with a quick finger coil, but I find if I just finger coil, I don't get the same results. But that's, you know, everybody's hair is a little bit different. Your hair has changed from smooth, straight wave to a coarse curl, but only in the back. Oh, that's so interesting. Finger coiling is like when people do, like, I don't even know how to do it, guys. Like this. You've probably seen it, and then they go like that. I'm so bad at it because I never do it. But I don't like it as much. Because this, when you brush through like this, you're smoothing the frizz first. And then you're going through. And I like that added ability to smooth the frizz first. But everybody's hair is different, right? My baby are very curly, but everything else is wavy. Your baby hairs, I think, are very curly, but everything else is wavy. How would I fix that? It doesn't sound like anything's broken. I mean, it can be very common, even for people with straight hair, to have baby hairs that are a little bit curly. Guys, I'll work out 4 days a week. I also have been doing this twice a week for so long, like my arms are used to it now. Okay, so what product did you put in your hair after you washed it? So far there is only the original curl keeper in my hair. So I'm just going to curl clump that I want through the bristles one time, start rotating the brush. If you find this helpful, don't forget to hit that follow button. I go live every single Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern. Okay, and then I'm gonna start rotating the brush. Notice how I only put it through the bristles one time so you don't end up cutting the brush out of your hair. And then I'm gonna start pulling it through until just the tips of the hair are going through the bristles. Okay, and then you keep rotating until it goes all the way to the root. And then you can start unwinding, or you can kind of alternate unwinding with pulling it through. Okay, and you're kind of enhancing that curl pattern. You have long curly hair, but my hair always gets frizzy on the second day, but I do everything right. Well, there's something you're doing that you could be doing differently, but unfortunately, it could be so many different things. It could be that you have buildup on your hair. It could be that you need a haircut. It could be that you have damage. It could be that you're not sleeping with sleep protection. You could be sleeping on satin or with a satin bonnet. It could be, we're talking about why your hair is frizzy by day 2. It could be that you're using curl cream but no gel. It could be that you're not using enough gel. It could be that you're not brush styling your hair or not adding enough definition on day 1, and so your hair looks great. Like for example, when I did squish to condition, my hair looked great on day 1, but by day 2 it was looking frizzy. I didn't add enough product and I didn't do enough to add definition on day 1 to get it to last. So there's so many things that can contribute to that issue. It's a really thing to answer without seeing your full hair routine. But yeah, that's a really good point. You can use a smoothing cream on your hair just on day 2. You can just go through section by, obviously it's better if you can figure out what's going wrong. But also you can take a smoothing cream. I love the Mela and Kira, which is a pink bottle smoothing cream. It's quite expensive, but it works so good. Put a little bit on your hands, go through section by section, and just use it to smooth the frizz. I prefer sleeping with a bonnet or a silk pillowcase, a bonnet or a silk scarf. Sleeping with satin or silk, like bonnets or silk scarves, is a technique that has really been learned and adopted from the black and brown hair communities. And I'm so grateful for that knowledge because it really has made such a difference in my hair routine and my ability to get longevity out of the style. I've tried so many products, but every time there is so much frizz and I don't know what to do. So guys, I have a whole video called the Anti-Frizz Masterclass. It is on TikTok Reels and TikTok, so you can go check it out. And it really goes through so many different places that you can possibly see frizz coming from. But actually, what I will do for you is on Instagram stories, I will go and post the link to a blog post that I just posted, which is about the ultimate guide to wash day frizz. So it's all the possible places on your wash day where you might be creating frizz, okay? And it's a whole blog post that you can read through, and you can kind of go through step by step of each step where you might be creating frizz. So I will put the link on my Instagram stories. So somebody else said, one second. How do you get rid of the crunch from gel? You can either just scrunch it away with your hands, or if that doesn't seem to be sufficient to get rid of it, you can use a little bit of hair, like a shine serum or a hair oil, to scrunch it away, and that should work as like an agent to dissolve it a little bit. The back of your hair is curly wavy, but the front is barely wavy. So techniques like this can help. Diffusing your hair, a good haircut can really help, using stronghold products. So your hair is never curly on the top. Do you have tips? It depends. If you have some sections of your hair that are very curly and some that are not, it could be that you have damage in some sections of your hair. Like, is it the section that you get highlights that is not curly? If that's the case, if you don't think it's coming from damage, well, then it's probably just uneven curl pattern, which is totally normal. And then it's more about getting a good haircut that caters to the fact that you have variety in your curl pattern, which is completely normal. And you want to get good at styling it. So for example, I have a flat top of my head, which is far less spirally than the underneath. So I do brush curls on the top section of my head, and I diffuse my hair upside down. Those are some techniques that help me. Someone says, didn't pilgrims use bonnets? Because I thanked the black and brown hair communities for, credited them with the knowledge of bonnets and sleep protection. Here's the thing, did pilgrims use silk bonnets to protect their hair at night? Not that I know of. And also, is that where I learned about it, to protect curly hair? No. How do you apply bonnets to long hair properly? I have a video about this. I would mess up my hair if I did it right now. Um, is this considered curl training? Some people call it curl training. I don't like it being called curl training because it doesn't last. Like that gives you like the concept that it's gonna last, which it only lasts to your next wash day. So you used all the products you need. Why do your waves not look defined? Products are not a silver bullet. That is such a great question. Products are not a silver bullet. Technique, how you apply your products and how you add definition to your waves are also incredibly important. So there's the techniques I'm doing right now. There's also squish to condish, the bowl method, rake and shake, all these other techniques that are going to help smooth frizz, add definition, and those are just as important as the products that you're using. Okay, sorry guys, I missed a whole bunch of comments there. I'm just checking to see if Pattern Beauty gifted your first sleep protection and you still use it. Oh, that's wonderful, Emily. Okay, I think I hit most of them. So you can see I don't really part my hair. I kind of do it down the middle. Actually, I'm lying to you. I'm gonna totally part my hair exactly down the middle. Let me just let it part where it wants to. We're gonna part it right there. If your hair loses its curl after styling, what are you doing wrong? I mean, one of the first questions I would say is, are you using gel? Are you using a stronghold gel? If the answer is already yes, I would say, are you using something under the gel that's too heavy for your hair? So for example, if you have hair that's not a curl that starts at the root and that's not like on the coarser side, are you using like a heavier curl cream under your gel? Because maybe it's just getting weighed down. Those would be two of the questions. I did a really big cut and my hair isn't getting how it was before. It was really curly before. So I don't know your exact situation, but if you have wavier hair where the curl doesn't start at the root and you get your hair cut too short, for example, if your hair is like this, one sec, like this strand of hair, where, see, it's got a little bit of wave here, but really like the first curl is starting way down here, right? If I was to cut it here, it would look almost straight. Does that make sense? So depending on your curl pattern, if you cut too much off, it might start to look almost straight. So that's something to keep in mind. Yeah, so that's something to keep in mind. You can't get my hair to not feel crunchy at the bottom, even after to break the cast. Might be using a little bit too much gel. Or it might just be the specific gel you're using. I would say try those. The other thing you could try is try diffusing your hair a little bit longer and using the diffuser to try to like break the cast, if that makes sense. So continue to diffuse your hair well after your hair is dry and use a little bit of oil on your hands to like continue to scrunch the hair and see if that can get it to break up. Do I apply products to the roots? I do. Now that's because I am more prone to frizzy roots than I am prone to oily roots, but everybody's hair is different. Okay, now this is the badly behaved side of my hair. As most of you know, I always struggle to get this side to look good. How often should you use protein treatments? That is such a good question. We haven't really talked about protein yet today. If you're finding this valuable, guys, oh, you're so sweet. Gissy, you're so sweet. The protein treatments. How often should you use protein treatments? I cannot answer that question because the answer is different for everybody. Some people should use protein treatments all the time. Some people shouldn't use protein treatments very often. Typically, lower porosity hair is going to use protein treatments less often than someone with super high porosity hair or someone who has bleached hair. But you want to learn how to read your hair. Some of the signs that your hair might benefit from a protein treatment include that your hair is struggling to hold curl like it used to, it's falling kind of limp. I feel like those are kind of the main ones. Your hair might not need a protein treatment and might have been overdoing it with protein treatments lately if it's more tangled than usual, or if it's going dull, if it's getting very like fairy knots all over the place, which is those tiny little tangles that are just a few hairs, and it's getting very brittle. Okay, so you really want to start to learn how to read whether your hair has too much protein or not enough protein. And over time, and if you just kind of have a protein treatment in your arsenal, over time, you just, every wash day, you think, okay, does my hair need a protein treatment or not? And maybe it'll be on a regular interval, like every 3 weeks or something like that. Maybe it won't be. Maybe it'll depend on the season. Maybe it'll depend on how often you're coloring your hair or lightening your hair. Like, there's a lot of factors that play into it. So half of my hair takes to the cast and will stay curly for days, and the other half falls out fast. It could be that part of your hair is over moisturized or needs protein, and the other half isn't, which is possible. In fact, some of our hair can be different porosities. Some of our hair can have different needs than others. There are some people who have such different hair types and porosities on different parts of their hair that they straight up have to use different deep conditioners on different parts of their heads. Like, that can happen. You have to learn how to be a pro and an expert in your own hair. I don't really have a protein treatment I recommend. If you need really intense protein treatment, the Apogee one apparently is quite good. But my hair is quite protein sensitive, so usually just using like a curl cream that has some protein in it or a conditioner that has some protein in it for a couple wash days is usually enough for my hair. So this is my natural hair pattern enhanced by brush curls, so manipulated. Okay, we are going to add to it. I promised we were going to do some scrunching. Now we're going to do some scrunching. So I'm going to add some of the Marc Anthony Strictly Curls Curl Enhancing Styling Foam, which has a little bit more hold. That's where we're going to get our hold from today. I could have done gel instead, but I just felt like doing something really lightweight. I also haven't used mousse in like forever, and I really like mousse. So I'm gonna do like quite a bit. So the difference between a mousse and a mousse gives this like whipped cream finish. A foam is gonna be more like bubbles. And foam is usually more about like adding volume to hair, and mousse is going to be typically more about adding definition, although there's definitely exceptions to that. Oh, it's not a dress, these are pants. I just bought them at a consignment store. So there's already Curl Keeper Original in my hair. So I'm going to glaze that mousse over my hair, put a little bit all around the outside, and then on the top, that's how I kind of evenly distribute it. Thank you. I love these airy tops. This was gifted to me by Subversive Socialite, and it has a built-in shelf bra, and it's so cute. I love it. It's actually meant to be like a sports bra sort of, but like it's a top, right? And then the pants were just from a consignment vintage store. Very cute. Okay. Okay, so I'm really just glazing that mousse all over, and then gently scrunching. And that was a lot of mousse, but I like a lot of mousse. What you do if your hair has symptoms of too much protein, you clarify and you read the ingredient labels on all of your products, and you cut out anything temporarily that has protein in it. What was the cream or moisturizer before you're styling your hair? So I didn't add any moisturizer. I only added the Curl Keeper Original. So this is just Marc Anthony mousse, and before that I added the Curl Keeper Original grip, guys. So this was what I added before brush styling my hair. Then I brush styled my hair, and then I just added Marc Anthony Strictly Curls Mousse. How am I not getting crazy curls in the back? I always have to brush the back. I already did. I brush styled my whole head already. Okay. Okay. So, I was planning to use this and I just realized this is terry cloth and I always tell you guys not to use terry cloth. So we're gonna use paper towel instead. Wait, are we? Maybe not. Hold on. Okay, we're gonna use paper towel today. You can use paper towel, you can use a t-shirt. T-shirt would be more sustainable. You can use a microfiber towel. Although I've heard that a microfiber towel is actually not ideal if you have fine hair. Never knew that. This is what you learn when you actually become a hairstylist. Do whose hair? What have I missed? My hair dries with no volume when I don't diffuse. So does mine. You can use root clips, but your hair is going to have less volume if you don't diffuse. Do I not get acne from hair products being on your skin? I sleep with my hair in a bonnet for that exact reason. But also, I don't have very good skin. I don't know if you guys can tell. I have really bad rosacea. Anyways. My curls look great when I use the bowl method and then it dries so frizzy and my curls fall. Bowl method is not great for me. It's great for some people. I know a lot of people hate on the bowl method. It works for a lot of people. I don't know why we're all hating on it. Just because it doesn't work for you doesn't mean it doesn't work for anyone. Works for a lot of people, it just doesn't work for me. But I've seen people it works great for. So, okay, so you have fine hair and you used a microfiber towel and it does not work. There you go. So yeah, we see the nice clumps that we have on my hair, not too frizzy. Okay, so I'm gonna use some paper towel now. Let's start by, when I am using paper towel, just because I don't want to waste a whole bunch of paper towel, I will just squeeze any excess water out first. Now it's flash drying because this Marc Anthony mousse always flash dries on me, but yeah, so there's no excess water. Oh no, I knew you weren't hating on it, Brie, don't worry. No, I'm talking about more generally. I see people hating, like people will comment on my videos of me like doing rake and shake and be like, notice how she's not doing the bowl method. And I'm like, it's so uncalled for. Like against the bowl method. Like, it's so funny. Okay, so again, this is called micro plopping, guys. We are just going in here and scrunching. Yeah, it was the Marc Anthony Strictly Curls. Notice how we're not rubbing. We are just very gently scrunching. 1 second. Do you have to use a paper towel, t-shirt, towel, etc., or can you just do everything without it? So, are you talking about using, like you could use a terry cloth towel. The key is, if you wanted to use a terry cloth towel, the terry cloth is like, all those little loops can create frizz. Terry cloth is not ideal. You don't want to skip this step of squeezing out the excess water because your hair will just take forever to dry. This is giving me flashbacks of 2002. Scrunch was everything, hell yeah. I like the Marc Anthony mousse, yes. If your curls fall when they dry, even with mousse, are you diffusing? Yeah, okay. So you see guys, everybody was so stressed that I wasn't scrunching earlier. It's fine. it didn't need to be scrunched earlier. But everybody's hair is different. So if you find your hair ends up less curly, if you don't scrunch it earlier, then scrunch it earlier. But it just saves me a step if I just wait till now to scrunch it. But this is also why I add so much mousse, because, you know, you kind of scrunch away some of the product. Okay. I hope I added enough product. We are going to use my Dyson. Woo, woo. I'm excited. I'll be sad when I bring this into the salon and I don't get to use it anymore at home. If you ever come see me in the salon, this is what I'll use on your hair. What do you recommend for being so overwhelmed by everything related to waves and curls? Protein, no protein, gel, mousse, it's so much for your brain. If you go to my Instagram or my TikTok, I have an intro to wavy hair routine. Start there. Protein and moisture is not the first thing you need to learn. It is a more complicated concept. I mean, once you learn it, it's not that complicated, but I only understood protein moisture like 6 months into my wavy hair progress. It's not the first thing you have to learn, okay? It can be absolutely very overwhelming. Who else? We have so many new people here. Yeah, but I have an intro to wavy hair routine that is pinned to my Instagram and my TikTok. Or I have a Squish Condish, which is another recent video that I posted on both platforms. Those are 2 options for a beginner routine. Try both of them. 2 separate wash days. See which one works better for you. Okay. Do you find immediate blow drying is better than air drying? On my hair, absolutely. Air drying is not going to give me the same results. Do you recommend dry shampoo for oily roots? Sure. Yeah. Okay. So, some people like to air dry for 15 minutes or so before they start diffusing. I ain't got time for that. What I do instead is I hover diffuse first. Hover diffusing is when you hold your blow dryer 10 centimeters away from your hair, like this, until the cast starts to set on your hair. It's mostly gonna be the mousse that sets the cast on my hair. The cast is that like crunchy finish or the stiffness from your hair. No clips today. I didn't use any heat protection. For diffusing my hair, frankly, I've got a ton of hair products in my hair. If you want to use heat protection, I haven't used much heat protection in the last 3-4 years, and my hair is very healthy, but use heat protection if you want. It's a Dyson. Also, to be fair, the shampoo and the conditioner that I use has built-in heat protection. Okay, way too many questions for me to keep up with, guys, so I'm just going to walk you through what I'm doing here. So basically, I'm hover diffusing until the cast starts to set, and this is going to allow my curl pattern to take the shape that it wants to take. Now, I've already done a lot of coaxing, especially in the areas where my hair struggles to hold its spirals the most. So that's the top layer of my hair. I did a lot of brush curls, but I already set the clumps in the size that I want them to be. So now I'm hover diffusing with the Dyson, which is gonna imitate a faster air dry. I have my heat and my speed on high right now, while my hair is nice and wet. That's what's gonna be drying my hair. And until my hair is like 50 to 60% dry, this is all I'm gonna do. Some people prefer to go straight into pixie diffusing, but for me, this is going to allow my curl pattern to start to set without looking wonky, without creating any frizz. You could have put clips in your hair for a little bit more lift. You can bubble diffuse if you want, lifting up at the root a little bit to get that lift on top. Yeah, this is Dyson. Okay. One sec. So I use a lot of different products, guys. The products that I'm using today are Curl Keeper, the original. And then, I don't really want to talk, Mary, I don't really want to talk about Avatar. I'm going to stick to talking about my hair. So the products that I'm using today are the original Curl Keeper, and then I used a little bit of Strictly Curls Curl Mousse. I didn't use heat protection. So I heard a Curl Keeper talk about, I heard a curl specialist, Curly Gal Chloe, say using a blow dryer and a diffuser on your hair is like putting your clothes in a tumble dryer. You can burn your hair. You can burn your clothes in a tumble dryer, sure. It's unlikely. So her point was you already have so many products on your hair, but especially while your hair is wet, using high heat, it's unlikely you're gonna burn your hair. As your hair starts to dry, start to turn the heat down a little bit, but you should be fine. Use good judgment. If your hair is heat damaged already, or damaged already, use good judgment. You can use like the Wizard by Amika or some sort of silicone-free heat protectant on your hair. Use good judgment. Do you use do I do online consultations to help with finding people's curl pattern? I don't think it's particularly helpful to know like the letter combination, like 3B, 2A. I don't think that's important. Have a general sense of whether you have like wavy, curly, coily hair. That's going to be generally helpful to point you in the right direction. But even within those categories, two different people are like, you can have two different people with 2A hair who need totally different curl routines. So it's going to be more helpful for you to find other people. Let's say you have wavy hair. Find other people who also have wavy hair, who also have, let's say, fine hair, and who also have, let's say, high porosity hair, okay? And then start to drill in and try out different techniques. A lot of it's gonna be trial and error. But whether you have 2A or 2B hair, doesn't really matter. First of all, 4 different people online are gonna give you 4 different answers. I'm certainly no authority. So, beyond that, it's just, I think it's unnecessary to go beyond that. Okay. So I think I've got a nice little cast starting here. So now I'm going to put my heat down, my airflow down to 2 and my heat down to 2. And I'm going to turn my blow dryer off, and I'm going to cup it and pixie diffuse, okay? And this is going to encourage the curl pattern a little bit. Porosity doesn't need to be too confusing. Porosity, if your hair dries pretty quickly, like if your hair air dries in 2 hours, or really if your hair air dries in 4 or 5 hours or less when there's no product in it, you have normal or higher porosity hair. If your hair takes like 6, 7, 8 hours or more to air dry with no products, might be normal or low porosity. The only exception to that is if you're like, oh, my hair dries instantly, it could be that you have low porosity hair and you're never actually getting it wet, okay? So when you say your hair takes hours to dry, do you mean 4 hours? Because that could still be normal or high porosity. Do you mean 8 hours? That's probably low porosity. I hope that helps. Okay, so this is pixie diffusing, guys. You turn your blow dryer off to limit the frizz. How do you protect it at night if you don't want volume? I mean, a pretty compact silk scarf or bonnet might be helpful, or just like a satin pillowcase. Should I part my hair wet or dry? And if wet, before or after styling? Wet before styling, you should part your hair. I think my outer hair has high porosity and my under hair has low porosity. That's very possible. Okay, if you found this valuable, guys, don't forget to hit that follow button. I go live every single Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern with a full hair routine, sometimes a refreshing routine. my hair please just be simple and chill. I am tired. That's what someone on TikTok just said. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of put them both on low because my hair is almost fully dry. You can really see I've got a really firm cast from the mousse. 1 second. God, I have to say the Dyson cut down on my dry time a lot. It used to take me so much longer to blow dry my hair. Definitely feels like it cut down on my time. If you've lost all your curls because of heat damage, can you get them back? Totally. Start with a bond treatment, something like Olaplex, K18, and that's a good starting point. Ultimately, some of it's going to come down to, use heat protectant if you're ever going to straighten or use a curling iron on your hair. And if you already have heat damage on your hair, I would recommend using a heat protectant even if you're blow drying your hair with any sort of heat. Does your hair get crunchy hard from the mousse? I can't get my hair not to crunch. Yeah, look at how crunchy my hair is. It's dry right now. What I do is once my hair is 100% dry, I will scrunch it until that crunchiness goes away. If it won't go away on its own, I'll use a little bit of a shine serum or a hair oil to finish getting rid of it. That crunchiness is called a cast. You might have heard that term online before. Gel can create a cast. Some curl creams can create a cast. Mousse can create a cast. And that cast comes from products that provide hold, okay? Yeah, I just got a Dyson for the salon, not for at home. I wouldn't have gotten one from at home. They're quite expensive. Are you going to be styling your hair after you finish your routine? I'm going to finish, I'm going to get it nice, but I'm going to wear it down today. You have such a hard time finding ways to wear your hair natural. On TikTok, I have a playlist called Curly Hairstyles. Really, it's wavy hairstyles, but yeah. So you can check that out. I think I have a couple of hairstyles on Instagram story highlights. I can't remember. Do I need to refresh my hair after this routine? I haven't used this product combination in a really long time. Now, I'm going to be working in the salon tomorrow, so I will maybe do quite an elaborate routine because when I work a 10-hour day in the salon, I want my hair to be perfect when I arrive in the salon because I'm doing people's hair all day. I want my hair to be flawless. But I do my lives on Tuesday, so it would be better if I just did my wash days on Wednesday before I went into the salon. But anyways, what I end up doing is the live on Tuesday, and then I end up doing a really elaborate refresh on Wednesday so that my hair on Wednesday looks like wash day hair. However, under normal circumstances, I probably wouldn't even refresh my hair on Wednesday. It would be more than good enough to just go about my life. I'm just very picky with how I want my hair to look in salon. But yeah, normally I wouldn't have. Okay, so now you can see, guys, I've got this very crunchy cast from the mousse and the original curl keeper. Okay, so I just went to start scrunching it out, and right away I could feel dampness right there. So I don't like to scrunch out the cast before I get rid of all the dampness. Okay, so now I'm gonna start scrunching out my cast. Oh, and anytime I feel that dampness, I'm gonna go back in. I do find with the Dyson, I end up using a lot less heat on my hair. I don't know why it is. It's just very good at drying. It's kind of magical. I start with high heat and high airflow, and I turn it down as my hair gets more dry. So the salon is called Curlology, and it's located in Carp, Ontario, and it is a curly hair salon. They specialize in wavy and curly and coily hair. What's happening? So when you're first, everything's important, right? But when I first got started, I started by buying styling products. You know, styling products is going, like, you're not gonna get the results you want just by buying a better shampoo and conditioner. However, using a good shampoo and conditioner is going to contribute to the health of your hair, and styling your hair will become much healthier or much easier when you have healthier hair. So they are both important, but I would probably start with your styling products. Is there an alternative to diffusing? There is. You can absolutely air dry your hair. I would look into getting root clips if you're going to be air drying your hair. But the thing to notice is you're going to get different results. My hair does not look like this when I air dry. It is a lot less curly, first of all, a lot less curly, a lot less volume. I have to use a lot less product and lighter products. I have not heard of the brand Purador. Your roots are straight. What should you do? Nothing. It's normal to have. My curl pattern doesn't start at the root either. I do brush curls on the top layer of my hair to give it the appearance that the curl starts slightly closer to the root, and I diffuse upside down like what you see, which kind of changes the appearance of it slightly, but there's nothing wrong with not having curl that starts at the root. It's not something that you have to fix or change. Thank you. You just refreshed your hair with me, and you're so happy with the results. I love it. Okay. Now, it always, just so you know, it always looks good when I'm like this. The real teller is whether I'm gonna have wonky pieces in my bangs. Oh, my lower back is killing me. The fact that I didn't look at my bangs once in preparation of this final reveal just means that I'm playing with fate today. I don't know why I'm feeling like such a toxic person right now. Usually when my hair is like not fully dry, I look at my bangs. I'll just use a curling iron on my bangs if I don't like them. That's my mood today. No bullshit. Okay. Oh, my back. I need to stretch. I did the last 2 days that I worked out yesterday and the day before, and I didn't stretch after either workout. Okay. Okay. It's wet. I can feel it damp all through here, so we're not quite dry yet. We're lacking a lot of volume, so we're gonna have to break up the clumps a lot more. We're gonna have to shake out these roots a lot more. so I'll answer for anyone who's asking the wavy question, why do I call my hair wavy? I'll answer it once, but I want to start by saying I'm not here to police what anyone else calls their hair. I'm not gatekeeping what anyone else calls their hair. I know that there are a lot of different definitions of wavy versus curly that circle around on the internet. The definition of wavy that I have found, I'll start by saying my hair is heavily manipulated right now, and you want to type your hair. You want to decide what your hair type is when it is air dried, unstyled, with no product in it. My hair looks completely different in that state than what you're seeing right now. I've made a career out of styling my hair. So it looks very different right now than how it would look in that state, okay? So that's the first thing I wanna say. Secondly, I want to say that, like I said, there's a lot of definitions of wavy versus curly, right? And one of the definitions of wavy that I have found the most helpful is that wavy hair is hair where the curl pattern does not start at the root and it has a tendency to loosen or fall out over the course of a few days. So you have a tendency to need stronger hold products. And people with wavy hair have a tendency to be looking to enhance their curl pattern and they're looking for stronger hold products. I think I just said that. And wavy hair can have both spirals and S waves. So many people think of, or one of the popular definitions of wavy hair is that wavy hair is S waves and curly hair is spirals. I don't use that definition of wavy versus curly. That is one of the definitions. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's not the definition I use. So many people come in here and they say, you have spirals, you have curly hair. I'm not saying you're right or wrong. I'm just saying we're not arguing apples to apples here. We're just using different definitions of the word wavy, if that makes more sense. The other thing that a lot of people say is, well, if your hair is wavy, then what does that make my hair? The challenge with that rebuttal is that if you look at someone with curly, like 3C hair, it is so far removed from my hair pattern. It is even further removed from my hair pattern than someone with like wavy hair that's like a loose, like straight wavy, like 2A hair. 3C is further from my hair in its air dried no product state than that is. So to say you have 2A hair, so if your hair is wavy, what is my hair? It loses the context of someone with 3C hair could say the same thing. So that argument just doesn't hold a lot of weight to me. Anyways, all that being said, the definition that I find the most helpful groups people together with wavy hair if their curl pattern doesn't start at the root, they're trying to get hair that is maybe a little bit more spirally, they're trying to hold their curl better, and all of those people tend to have a pretty similar common goal. And a lot of my techniques help people who have those goals. Not all of them, because of course wavy is a massive category, just like curly is a massive category. Kinky and coily are massive categories. But anyways, that is where I'm coming from on that. But I know a lot of people will come to my page and say, no, your hair is curly. They're not right or wrong. They're just using a different definition of the word curly than I am. So I think that's where we all just need to like understand that there's more than one definition of wavy versus curly. Thank you, Maria. Yeah, so I will refresh. Sorry, I'm not done my hair, by the way, because I don't like how you can see how flat my roots are here. That does not fly in this house. I like my hair to be much bigger than this, so I'm going to continue. Like, my hair is not done right now. I just wanted to take a minute to answer that question because I think it's such a great question, and it's one that creates so much confusion. And like, it's something that I'm continuing to learn and evolve on that topic. I reserve the right to change my opinion as I learn more in this industry. I'm a hairstyling apprentice. I'm going to continue to learn from so many amazing curly hair specialists of diverse backgrounds. So I reserve the right to change my opinion as I get new information. Add a jungle of plants in front of those windows. Great light. Oh, you just don't see my jungle of plants. They're here. They're behind here. Yes, I love Unite. I actually their Unites leave-in conditioner spray and their curl defining cream I absolutely love. I used them exclusively for a really long time before I became a curly hair content creator or wavy hair content creator. What do you consider your hair to be in a way of 1A to 4C? I don't type my hair beyond wavy, curly, kinky, coily because I have multiple curl patterns on my head just like most of you do. Okay, so now guys, my hair is mostly dry, but not quite. I don't like to make my hair bigger and start trying to get more volume until my hair is 100% dry because that would create frizz. Does that make sense? Product reveal, sorry for anyone who joined late. The product reveal is I used original curl keeper, lots of it. It's hard to overdo it with this product. It adds definition without adding too much hold. Thank you so much for someone who said that they like my new haircut on YouTube. And then I followed that up with quite a bit of Anthony Strictly Curls mousse, which gave me a really nice strong cast. Okay, so I'm going to start creating more volume by using my diffuser a bit more liberally now to finish drying my hair and start breaking up this cast and bringing more volume, okay? You saw me at Walmart? No, you didn't. I haven't been at Walmart lately. You're messing with me now. No, I haven't been at Walmart. No, I haven't been at Walmart lately. I have to think about that though. That was like a very like believable thing to say to a creator though, because I feel like most people go to Walmart all the time. Okay, so normally when I'm pixie diffusing like this, I'm holding positions for like 10 to 15 seconds. I'm turning my diffuser off in between changing positions, right? At this point, yeah. Now it's just gonna be like, I saw you at the LCBO. Okay, so now I'm just going to be a little bit more liberal because I'm not worried about creating a little bit more frizz. I want to bring more volume into my hair. The Dyson's worth a lot of money, guys. I bought it for the salon. I just haven't brought it into the salon yet. I'm a hairstyling apprentice. Yes, did I brush form my curls first? On top of my head, yes. That's why you can see some of these curls are so perfectly formed, some of those spirals. Do either of the products have a strong scent? There's a mild scent in the Curl Keeper, and the Marc Anthony smells like lemon. But the Marc Anthony is just like a drugstore mousse. I feel like all the drugstore mousses are really similar. I do this routine twice a week. And I mean, I feel like we're taking our sweet time today. It's usually, if I were to do it not on live, it takes me about, like, from starting washing my hair until when I'm done, about 90 minutes from when I start getting in the shower. On live, just the styling portion takes me like 90 minutes to 2 hours because I'm talking to you guys and I get interrupted and, you know. How do I keep my curls or my waves from falling when I sleep? I wear my hair in a bonnet or a silk scarf, which is a technique that I've learned from the black and brown hair community, and I'm so grateful for that knowledge because it's made such a difference in helping me get more longevity out of my hair pattern. The bonnet that I use is from a business called CK Beauty, which they're on TikTok and Instagram, and I believe they're linked in my bio. Can curl pattern change with hormonal changes? Yes. Let's talk about it. If you are a cis woman, your hair can change with so many different hormonal changes in your life, from puberty, toddler. You might have baby curls and they might straighten out when you're like between 2 and 4 years old. You might actually end up having straight hair for the rest of your life, but you might have had baby curls, right? You might have, thank you, Nadine. Oh, that was for Amber. You might, so during menopause, during puberty, when you have babies, Some people get like postpartum hair loss, and when it comes back, it's curlier or less curly. But any changes in your hormones can absolutely change your curl pattern. So do you see how just continuing to diffuse really softened the curl pattern up quite a bit, continued to break up that cast? Which is not, just to be clear, depending on your curl pattern, is not everyone's goal. There's nothing wrong with leaving a little bit of a cast, especially with a much tighter curl pattern. It can be a good idea to leave a little bit of a cast, because leaving a little bit of a cast can help you get more longevity out of your style. If you have wavier like hair where the curl pattern doesn't start right at the root, it restores a lot of volume if you break the cast more, right? So that's why a lot of folks with curl pattern that doesn't start at the root, they want to break the cast 100% on wash day. But if you have hair that naturally has a lot of volume, you might want to go ahead and break that cast fully on wash day. Yeah, blood thinners, liver treatment, chemo can change your hair texture. A lot of people after COVID hair loss got changes in their hair texture after that. If you missed part of this live, guys, you can watch the recording back on Instagram or on YouTube. The recording is going to be on both of those. Your curl pattern changed after dyeing and bleaching it. That's a reality for a lot of people. Did you solve the curl mystery as soon as you, found good products? Absolutely not. I had very bad heat damage. I haven't done a progression video in a long time, although if you scroll back, I'm sure you'll find one. Oh, no, here. Let me show you guys. This was my hair when it was heat damaged. Let me show you a couple of videos. This was my hair using very good products. Nothing wrong with the products I was using compared to my hair now. Okay, it was, one second, let me see if there's a better picture. You can kind of see it there. So can you kind of see here how below there it's quite straight, and here it's starting to come in a little bit wavier, but below there the ends are quite straight. This was really badly heat damaged. Let me see what else I've got here. This is another good visual. Oh, here's a good one. Okay, do you see how spirally it's growing in here and how straight it was down here? This was all heat damage. So ultimately I had to grow out a lot of my heat damage. I had never heard of bond treatments or anything like that. Also, I wouldn't have had the money to at the time anyways. So I just had to grow it out. Now you can see, if you compare this, the ends, how straight they were, how spirally it was growing in. And if you compare that to my ends now, they're spirally all the way to the end, spirally all the way through, and that's the difference between having the heat damage and not having the heat damage. How do you reverse heat damage? So it's more about strengthening the bonds. So you can do bond treatments, K18, Olaplex, things like that. You can also grow it out. Use heat protection, silicone-free heat protection if you are going to continue heat styling your hair. Ideally, cut out straighteners and curling irons at least for 6 or 8 months. You can still use heat with your diffuser, but use a heat protectant, especially while you have heat damage. I don't use heat protectant anymore, but my hair is very, very healthy and robust. And there's lots of products in my hair, right? Okay. I'm just going to add a little bit more root volume here, okay? So I'm going to use a little bit of cream hairspray. Yes, you did hear that right. What I like to do is take a little bit of cream hairspray. It's called Tweak. This is linked in my bio for sure. Curl Keeper. Does having good diffuser make a difference? You're fine with a cheap blow dryer and diffuser. It's not the first thing I would replace. However, I have to say I've started using the Dyson and it is much faster. But is it worth $600, $550 Canadian or whatever? You know, like it's half the time probably for me to blow dry my hair, but I don't know if it's worth it. Can you try to do your curl routine without applying gel? Would you expect the results? I wouldn't get the same longevity. Hairspray always ruins my hair, so this cream hairspray might be great. So I only apply cream hairspray to get volume at the root. So what I'm gonna do is flip my hair upside down. And I am going to zhuzh the roots to help me get a little bit more volume right here. Now this will add a little bit of frizz, okay? But I'm not afraid of frizz because I have like no frizz in my hair right now. I want more volume. Always pull your hair back out the same way it comes in, right? Don't like pull it out through the strands. Okay. Okay. I don't add it to the ends, although there are some people who have tried using this as a curl cream and they liked it, but I've never tried that. So do you see how that just gives me like a little bit more volume and rounded shape through there? And then I'll usually follow that up with a little bit of a hairspray. Now, I think I'm even going to, I usually try to do my brush curls in the right size in the first place, but I still find that I'm not quite getting as much volume as I would want. Oh, my hair's still a little damp. Okay, I'm not gonna mess with it anymore. I'm just gonna leave it as is and I can zhuzh it and get more volume once it's 100% dry. What do you think, guys? Not bad. There's no gel in my hair, which is why it's not quite as shiny as it usually is, and I definitely am getting the vibe that I'm not gonna get as much longevity out of it, because like you can see the difference. I don't know if you can tell, it's not as shiny. Like that's the thing with mousse, is it's gonna be much flatter than when you use gel. I kind of wish I'd used a little bit of gel, but our curls that fall out at the ends likely a result of heat damage. It could be that your hair needs protein as well. Is your hair permed? No. Looking good, thank you. What do you think of hair oil? Yeah, lots of people like to use hair oil to like smooth frizz on top, to break the cast at the end, and to seal in moisture. Do you miss your previous length? No, because it had really bad split ends. And it just needed a trim. I hadn't had my hair cut in like 10, 11 months. It needed to be cut. I only want length if it's gonna be healthy. How often should we be using clarifying shampoo? It depends on a lot of factors. Like, are you swimming in a pool all the time? Do you have hard water? Hard water is like, if you have well water that has like a lot of mineral buildup in it, versus like city water is usually soft water. Is it better to go to a curly specialist versus going to a regular stylist? So the difference is a curl specialist is going to cut your hair paying attention to your curl pattern. So for example, if this area of your head is less spirally than this area of your head, they're going to give you a haircut that takes that into consideration. Most, not all, but most non-curly stylists are going to cut it like it's straight hair. They're going to cut it so that it looks good straight. But then when it dries, if you have different curl patterns in different places, it might end up looking wonky. So you might end up looking like you have a mullet if your underneath layer is less spirally and your top layer is more spirally. Or you might end up looking like the reverse mullet if your top layer is very flat and your underneath is like really, really spirally. So like that's what can happen, right? Is if they're not paying attention to your curl pattern when they're cutting it. I have hair that is more S waves right now. Is it possible over time they'll coil more? It depends. Like, are they unhealthy? Your hair pattern likely isn't going to change unless it's currently damaged or your protein moisture balance is off. Barring, of course, unless you have a curl pattern change due to like hormones, which you can't really control or predict. Thank you. Somebody's like, I just came back after a while and your hair looks so nice. Thank you. Do you recommend not dyeing your hair? You can absolutely dye your hair. You can do whatever you want to your hair. You can lighten your hair. Just talk to your stylist. Go to someone you trust. Say, I wear my hair wavy, or I wear my hair curly, or whatever. And I want to minimize the damage. So how can we lighten it, or how can we color it in a way that minimizes damage? Can S hair coil over time? So I have used the word coil incorrectly in the past, so I want to like differentiate the word coil from the word curl. Coily hair refers to like not kinky hair, but like a very tight curl pattern. So I think you mean, can S hair spiral, like turn into a ringlet? I don't think you mean, can S waves coil like a tiny little spring, like a pencil. You mean like, can it turn into a spiral? It can, like I said, if your hair is currently damaged and you heal that damage, or if your hair is lacking protein and it gets the protein it needs. But if it's currently healthy, it could just be that that is your current hair pattern, like healthy hair pattern. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with S waves. S waves are beautiful. You just need to learn how to treat them how they want to be treated, and follow influencers that have your hair pattern. Don't only follow influencers that have spirals, because then you're constantly going to be seeing beautiful spirals, wishing you had beautiful spirals. Follow influencers that have beautiful S waves and start to admire that. It's like how, you know, when you're in your 30s, I think it's really advisable to follow influencers who are in their 40s and embracing their age, so that you look forward to being in your 40s. You're not only following influencers who are in their 20s. Emily says, I have S waves and you love them. I think that's wonderful. Jeff, I don't know if you're meaning to be creepy, but that came across so creepy. I just bought a diffuser and then I stumbled upon you. I'm about to try your routine out. Oh, so exciting. Blue eyes. So don't look for curly hair creators, look for wavy creators. So type in wavy. Type in 2A creators, type in swavy, type in loose wave creators, type in S wave creators. And trust me, it's way more frustrating for people who have like 3C hair and they type in curly hair routine and all they see is girls with my curl pattern or looser. And they're like, can you imagine how frustrating that would be if you have like 3B, 3C hair and you're looking for creators that have curly hair like yours, and all you see is women who have barely what some people might consider curly hair, what a lot of people would consider like loose curl, mostly wavy hair, and that's what is flooding your feed. That's all you're finding, because as we know, algorithms tend to prioritize white women. How frustrating that would be. That is a far larger systemic issue than the issue of women with loose waves not being able to access the information, because ultimately the beauty standard is built for women with loose waves. Do you have a specific product you recommend for refreshing curls? I really like Smooth Ends by Mela and Kira. I know it's a more expensive product. I just haven't found one I like better. And I use it to just like smooth frizz. It's just a smoothing cream to smooth frizz. We already addressed the curly versus wavy. If you want to go back and listen to the recording, it's going to be posted on Instagram and YouTube. Hannah Ray. Which Hannah is that? Hello. Is that a Hannah I know? No, we're done. We're just chatting. Okay, I think we're pretty much done today. Thanks, guys. That was an awesome live. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate all of you, and I think it turned out pretty well. I'm okay with how it turned out because I'm planning on refreshing it anyways tomorrow. I think I should have used gel because I just feel like it's looking a little dry, especially in these Canadian winters. I think I would have gotten more longevity out of it if I used a little bit of gel. Nadine, I'm so glad you're here to stay. That's wonderful. Have a great day, Emily. Thanks for joining for the full live. And Tony, oh my gosh, you guys were here the whole time. You're amazing. Good hair day. Yeah, I'm happy with it. How do you dry your hair? I used a diffuser. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I think it's looking much better. Do you see how like the roots are like not looking quite as casty as they were at the beginning? I think I'm gonna grow my hair out again though. I did like the length, it wasn't healthy. Okay, bye y'all, love you.